This is Morning Edition on KUNC. The Greeley Stampede is in full swing leading up to the 4th of July. But for the first time ever, attendees this year are having to pay a $5 admission fee to the 88-year-old event. And depending on who you talk to, that, combined with a sluggish economy, could lead to smaller crowds this year. KUNC's Grace Hood has more.
Welcome to the Stampede. How y'all doing?
For the past 15 years, Skip Carlson has welcomed hundreds of thousands of visitors to the Stampede. His cowboy hat, American flag shirt, and jeans serve as a sort of insurance policy to visitors that they're in for a Western-themed experience. But his personal interests are wider in scope. Behind him are maps of the U.S. and world posted onto a large board.
I keep track of where people come from all around the world.
Things seem potentially dicey with the economy. What have you been seeing as a official welcomer to the Greeley Stampede?
This time last year, there would probably be 2 or 3 times as many of these people that we have here.
Carlson says it's tough to pinpoint why that is. It could be that Colorado's economy is still faltering, hitting family spending money hard. Another could be the new $5 general admission fee that people are paying this year.
I hate it. Even though it's cheap, I hate it.
That's Jill Hernandez from Fort Collins. She's not a fan of the idea because she says raising 2 kids on her dental assistant salary is tight, but she wanted them to have at least one unique summer experience.
What brings you here?
The Cowboys. Had to make sure no husband wasn't around.
Peggy Crump from Greeley has already been here once and says she may come back a 3rd time this weekend despite the admission fee.
Oh, I don't really mind it.
Executive Director Bill Ogg says charging a fee was a necessity after a disappointing 2009 economic performance. Organizers attribute that to a rainy 10-day stretch and the economy. This year, Ogg says many people seem to be willing to pay a lot more than $5 for concert tickets and the rodeo.
We didn't feel that it affected attendance at those events at all. And in fact, Keith Urban was one of the larger concerts that we've had in years.
And if you look at how drink and food vendors are doing this year, there are even more positive signs. Board member and volunteer Ray Isola has a unique vantage point on this situation.
I heard people call you the Iceman.
Well, that's what they called me when I started, and I still have the name, yeah.
Isola and his team deliver ice from the back of a golf cart to food vendors throughout the 10-day event.
I actually think we're ahead of where we have been. Okay, we're going to stop right here.
One of the deliveries is to Nana's famous barbecue and grill. Sandra Baker stands at the front of her tent.
So what do we have here?
We have steak on a stick, boneless barbecue, pork ribs.
Sandra and her husband Jeff have been putting meats on sticks for the last 15 years in the food court at the Stampede.
What's the demand been like for you guys?
So far, it's been spectacular. The weather's been great, and that's great.
The bakers say there's a dramatic difference from last year, which is often referred to as the wettest on record for the Stampede. They say their work at other festivals across the state this year has also been good.
I don't think the economy is hurting the person for the fairs. It's still cheap entertainment. You can get a funnel cake and have a whole day's worth of fun for $40 for a family. That's still fun.
The promise of cheap entertainment is exactly what Jim Tucker is hoping will lure steady crowds this summer to events nationwide. Tucker is president of the International Association of Fairs and Expositions. In 2009, he says just over 70% of the events belonging to his organization reported the same or increased attendance. So far, he says, early events in Florida and Texas are setting up 2010 to exceed last year's results.
It looks like we're going to do very well if we have good weather.
Back at the entrance gate, Skip Carlson dishes out his signature Western charm.
Welcome to the Stampede. How y'all doing? See the program? I'm gooder in grits and better in bacon.
Based on what he's seen so far, Carlson says he's skeptical of projections from people like Jim Tucker.
They're in the business to promote business. And when you're in the business to promote business, you don't want to put out that business is no good.
Stampede officials are hoping for at least 300,000 visitors during the festival. Carlson and others say the rodeo that started on Tuesday is expected to draw the most crowds, and many of them will pass right by Carlson. Meantime, he's got one message event organizers hope people will remember for next year.
Great to see you. Y'all come back now, you hear?
You've got that line down.
I have several lines, I guess, but they're not, they're really not lines if they're you.
For KUNC, I'm Grace Hood.